Hello and welcome to the Misbehavior Podcast for Conduct Professionals. I'm Colette
And I'm Kurt.
and we're the hosts and we are talking all things student conduct. Um, Kurt, it's the opening of school. We have
I know.
students on our campus. How about you?
I love it. It is my favorite time of year. I do enjoy the summer, obviously, but the energy on campus is just, it's contagious right now. I love it.
Nice. Do you know of any shenanigans yet?
No, but it's funny. We have a new conduct officer on campus, and I got to meet her at convocation, and then we had a new employee lunch last week, and I got to talk to her a little bit then. I didn't ask if there were any shenanigans yet, but when she went around and did her introduction, she said she was a res life person. I thought this is going to be somebody that I can
Oh,
chat with. So, that whole question of, is there any other path to conduct other than residence life?
yeah.
Like, how do people get there?
It's interesting. The conference I was at this summer in Detroit, I met somebody who was, I don't know if she was a police person, but she worked in her campus police office. And now she does investigative stuff. There are a lot more positions of investigator now on campuses. You remember the old model in our days of, I was a football coach, so I was good at discipline, and now I'm the dean of students. I
Yes.
think there are still some of those out
We had
there.
a football coach that was also their public safety director. I think you and I had that experience.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
some come right from police squads onto campuses or faculty, like at small school, faculty doesn't get tenure and then they move to student affairs and find different positions.
makes total
Oh,
sense.
it'd be interesting to see the data on that.
Do you have any favorite back to school rituals
Rituals.
or traditions?
I want to have an episode, so I'll ask you, do you have like a lucky outfit?
A
Like it's
lucky
back to
outfit.
school. Did you pick out your back to school clothes?
I did not. The thing I like about it is the first 2 days of school we're allowed to wear spirit wear to work. So it's like casual Friday, 2 days in a row. No, no lucky outfit though. Now I'm gonna have to figure out how could I
Yeah.
put together a lucky outfit. What's your lucky outfit?
Well, this new one I just got, this is a vest by Sarah Jessica Parker's company, Bitten.
I think could we get a fashion show here? Could you do a twirl?
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, that's super cute. Is it gray?
It's tweed.
Oh, okay,
$18 on eBay, everyone.
love
So
it.
it's a one and a
Love Sarah
cut.
Jessica.
I'm the one that got it. I was trying to make my hair curly today, so I'm really, I really am subconsciously trying to, yeah, trying
I
to
think we could do a
channel it.
whole podcast about Sarah Jessica Parker if we had time.
I'm intrigued, Kurt. I'm wondering, like, do we get to this age and you were excited about dress down Friday? Is there a time when you quit worrying about, like, what's going to be my first day outfit? And instead it's like, yay, sweatpants.
Well, this week for me it was what piece of clothing can I put on that won't further ruin my back? I threw my back out this week picking a sock up off the floor. So I'm definitely of a certain age. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listener, please call in. Let us know. Do you pick out your lucky outfit? I do have it on our list of 100 topics, though. Some week I would love to have like a conduct fashion conversation because
Yeah.
I think we're gonna need to have some levity in this year.
What's your go-to outfit for a difficult conversation? I think that could be a great episode. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta start. I need to think about it.
I think for me it is black pants, white shirt, black tie. Just monochromatic all the way. Like you mean business and you might be going to a funeral afterwards.
Well, you know me, I wore black almost every day for much of my career. And then I met our guest next week, Jessica Ecock Rotundo. And when I moved away, I sent her a card that said, "You brought color into my life, like literally and figuratively." So I hope people are excited to meet her 'cause, now I think I look for color.
I do remember All the black outfits. I also associate you with red for some reason. Maybe it was,
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's my accent color. Now, fuchsia. On a good week, my hair guy will make my hair fuchsia. I'll show up here with some purple hair.
Love it.
But I think Jessica really inspired like bringing life to conduct, to meetings, to just make us more human.
I do always remember, those first conduct cases of the academic year feeling very rusty, not used to having those difficult conversations. And it's also that intersection of the absurd things that a student might get into their first week of being an independent adult that they might never do again.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I didn't know whether to bring this up. But that muscle memory thing already bit me this week.
What happened?
I was very excited. I was telling my boss this week, like, yay, students are coming back. I hope some of them packed some beer in their suitcases. I'm like, couple bongs, it'd be great. So I was meeting with this lovely student, just like mature, which is not unusual at the school I'm at. I like just amazing, thoughtful, analytical students. And we have a new person starting, and I'm like, oh, you should join me, meet some of our awesome students. And the student kept apologizing, and I could tell that it was bringing a lot of shame for a fairly serious but not, crazy situation. I'm like, boy, there's a lot of shame coming here. I kept missing the cues where she's like, and you all have to talk to me again. And the new person picked up. I'd actually met this student when I was new at my school a year ago, and I didn't recognize her. And I said, you know what? I need you to stop apologizing and you let me apologize right now because I did not recognize you, and you were so lovely. And she's so mature now. I keep saying that, but like it's a surprise, but it shouldn't be. But I just felt mortified that I felt really it was disrespectful to her. And this new person was watching and had to cue me on, like, hey, Colette, you know this person.
How many conduct officers do you have at your school?
Right now, there are two of us and a dean of students
Okay.
who would probably pick up a case if he needed to. And we've got a new director of our department coming in October, which is really exciting. But right now, I'm the person who's been there the longest, and I started a year ago today,
Wow.
actually.
So senior in your office and 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
No pressure.
It's fun though. This new person, we were talking about Myers-Briggs, I think, on our last episode or
Yeah.
two ago, and she and I are both J, like we like to get things done. And our dean of students is a big P, so he is very visionary and has really cool ideas, and we are like, all right, we're ready to execute.
I
It
love an
feels like a
executor.
really nice balance.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So you brought up the whole muscle memory thing and then I hijacked it, but
Well, no, it was a great story. And I do imagine like when there are so few conduct officers on a campus, it's probably hard to remember like all the cases that you have, especially when it's a year apart. So yeah.
and I would forgive myself for that. And the student wise, she was so sweet. Like, oh my gosh, you must meet with so many students. Like, yeah, but we have a record and I was very quick. I did look up all the students' priors that I was going to be meeting with, but we have a nice amnesty program where
Oh,
if you're in a help seeking situation, you don't get a disciplinary record. So I just skimmed everyone looking for community standards prior cases, and it was lazy of me, or I wouldn't call myself lazy, but I missed an important detail that I will be super attentive to this year now.
well, it sounds like you had a very forgiving experience with that student.
I did. And we are very focused this year on relationship building. So I I know that they felt that it wasn't because I didn't care.
I like the concept of relationship building in a conduct setting. I think that was probably something that was lost on me as a new professional. Like I was just there to do the conduct and not experience the entirety of the student's life or even their campus experience.
And it was that even part of our training then? I don't
We
think it was.
talked about um, the holistic student experience, but for me, that meant their life in dorms slash residence halls and their academic life. I don't think until I was further in my career did I start to think about the life that they have outside of the school and the family issues that they may be dealing with. I think I was being very literal about holistic student. It was just the whole of the student piece, not the entirety of who they were as a person. I like that. I like to think that having a school that's intentionally focusing on that is teaching new professionals to think holistically about what students bring with them to their campus experience, and in particular, like how can that play out in a conduct setting?
Yeah, in a couple weeks we're gonna invite a colleague named Cheney Francis to join the podcast, who shared some information with us in writing about how she's changed her approach, where she used to try to be really friendly with students and now has set different boundaries. And I'm dying to ask about that. Like, where is that boundary?
Yeah. And how do you get to that point, Bevan?
And I think I stumbled on it by accident, the relationship part, because I love at the beginning of a hearing when the student's so nervous. I saw some of those this week, and it was like that conversation where you can help them
Yeah.
deflate, and you can even see them like their body relaxes if you can do enough good chit chat. And so for me, my motivation was just to get them relaxed so they would tell me the truth about what happened. So it sounds really manipulative, but then you realize, oh, you're learning a lot about this student that you would never have known. And now every hearing I ask, is there anything else that I wouldn't know to ask you that you think is important? But it didn't come from a place necessarily of empathy at first.
But it sounds like it's transformed into that.
Mm-hmm. And now it's an expectation. Now I look for it. And like when we were interviewing candidates this year in the hiring, it's like a minimum expectation for me that either they bring it or you can tell that they are predisposed to be able to do that really successfully.
Yeah. I think that would be another great topic, like the whole concept of emotional intelligence in um, higher ed in general, but also, specifically in conduct settings. Because I think about how I did conduct early in my career. I probably missed a lot of things because I was focused on that student and the specific situation and not thinking critically about what got them to that situation and how
Yeah.
can we help them make different choices.
We all missed it and still have lots of opportunities. I wanted to throw something by you that I just read as a case study. Somebody posted it online. They are at a community college.
Oh,
I've never worked somewhere where there were not students in residence.
hmm.
And there was some online anonymous bullying happening. And they were just asking for advice. And the approach was, what can the police do? What could IT do? And you know me, I'm all like, wow, what could we do with social engineering where peers could tell peers stories and open each other's hearts? But on a community college campus, what are the opportunities for building a shared sense of looking out for each other?
It's a good question. I think there is a myth that there is less community on a community college campus than in a residential setting. I do see a lot of community building at our school. We have a lot of just shared spaces where students hang out in between classes. A lot of our students, I shouldn't say a lot, we have a large population of students that use public transportation to get to campus. So it doesn't make sense for them to come for a class, drive home, come back. So they'll hang out in our cafe for the better part of the day. We have a lot of we have 30 plus clubs on our campus too that are very active. So I do see students building community and supporting each other in that way. But it does get blurry when you think about where conduct related things can happen. And I remember my first semester at the community college I work at, there was a situation where somebody was cyberbullying, and the questions that were coming up were where did it happen? And it's such a weird question because
Mm-hmm.
there were questions about, did the bullying emanate from campus or was it from off campus? Did the recipient receive the bullying on campus or were they off campus when it happened? And they're interesting questions. And I know why we asked them, because if they were using college technology, that it's a different thing. But at the end of the day, it's all moot because the student was bullied. It doesn't matter if it happened in their home or in the McDonald's or at a stoplight while they're scrolling through their phone. They had that experience. So my focus was, how do we take care of the student first and foremost, and we can answer those other questions later, but let's connect with the student and figure out how to support them.
That's so important. There's the compliance part that is about geographic lines. And how often do we miss the just doing the right thing part?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a successful, like, do you remember, did something good come of that?
I I don't think we ever got to resolution on who had done it. I think for me, the important part was the student felt like they were supported in the process. We provided them with the resources. This is going back over 10 years at this point, but I do remember talking to them about options. Like, certainly they could talk to our public safety officers, but they might want to consider filing a police report. Yeah, I don't know that we ever, and I wasn't in conduct at the time. I was the person that they came to and said, this is what's happening to me. So I introduced them to our conduct system and how to file the report. And that's when all the questions started coming about, well, where did this happen? Like, is this even our issue? And to me, at the end of the day, if a student comes and says, this happened to me, I don't know that I care if it's our issue. They came to us. There's an expectation that we do something, that we help, that we provide a resource.
Yeah. Might not be our issue, but it's our student.
Yep, yep,
Can I ask, so when you walk into the cafe, are students sitting with each other?
yeah, yeah. It was. I think back to my office when I was in student life was right off the cafe. So it was hustle and bustle from 10 in the morning until about 2 in the afternoon. That was like the peak time. And then COVID hit, and post COVID, it was not busy. And my office wasn't there anymore, but I would come over in the middle of the afternoon and it would be dead. So our student life people really, they started asking students, like, what do you want this space to be? And they brought games into our cafe area. I'm not talking board games. I'm talking, like, we have a pool table down there now. We have basketball, one of those basketball games where you try
Uh-huh.
to do hoops next to somebody. Like, I think there's a sports simulator, there's some arcade games. And at first I was like, is this gonna, like, is this gonna do it? There are so many students down there now, just enjoying the space. When I was there, there was an entire section where students had pushed together these 4x4 tables and made a giant row. It was the gamers. And they would go down there and they would just be on their computers. Uh, they're playing a game together online, but they're sitting right next to each other. It
Oh
was
my
cute to watch.
God.
And they were there every day. You can count on those students being there and enjoying themselves. So, yeah.
It reminds me of the way airports have evolved. Where it used to be you'd go to the airport, there were seats and there were gates, and that was about it. And then innovators realized airports are for people. And now, did you know that last year that some airports started putting gyms
No?
in where you could go work out and take a shower, get dressed again, and hop your plane?
I love that idea. Last time I was in an airport, I saw a lactation pod,
Mm-hmm.
a sleep pod, and there were people doing chair massages out in the concourse, I guess is what it is. To me, it looks more like a mall, like from back in the day, than it ever did before, which I love. I would live in a mall if I could.
Yeah, I used to have fantasies about getting stuck overnight in a department store
Me
with a
too.
comfy bed.
I feel like there was a movie or a TV show. I know, like Mannequin, obviously, but there was another one where somebody fell asleep in the dressing room. Yeah, how much fun would that be?
Yep. Well, to bring it back to conduct, I am glad you're pushing back on the idea of like community at community college because I meet so many students who don't know how to make friends and they have a room where they can just go and disappear and isolate and it's not good and maybe
Yeah.
you're doing a better job and we dismiss commuter campuses totally wrong. Or at least I need to own it.
So I won't pretend that we don't have people that just come to campus and then leave. My first month at the school, they said we have a PCP problem on campus, and I was like,
What?
wow, not on my radar at a community college. And it was an acronym for parking lot, classroom, parking lot. In my world, it was a drug problem. Like we got the angel dust. So we did part of the goal was how do we keep students on campus and get them connected? Because obviously, if students feel connected to campus and faculty, they're going to do better. They're going to persist. They're going to graduate, which is the entire goal of what we're trying to do at a community college and higher education in general.
And I would love it if your new conduct person, if our new conduct people see themselves as part of that community development conspiracy. That is prevention work, that is foundation setting.
I don't know this person well. I think she and I have had two or three conversations, but I can already tell she's got the right mindset for this job. She exudes this warmth. When we went around and did introductions, she gave her pronouns, one of the only people in the room to do that aside from me. And I was like, this is somebody who relationships matter to. So I'm excited to get to know her. Maybe I can convince her to come on the show.
That would be great. I feel like there's a story arc here that's beginning with your relationship with her that we're going to hear about over
All
the
right.
coming months.
I did invite her
Yeah.
to get coffee. I wanna hear about how she got into that job and what it's like to be a conduct officer. I've not been a conduct officer at a community college. I was a residence hall director who did conduct
Mm-hmm.
at a residential community college, which is a whole other beast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, so
Yeah.
back to school,
Yeah.
what was the craziest or most interesting case you had? First case of the year.
Mm. On paper, there's such weenie cases right now. I had a quiet hours case this week,
Was
but
it reported by a librarian?
we don't know who reported it. That's part of according to the report, there were multiple complaints, but the students are like, well, nobody told us. First we heard about it, the staff was at the door writing people up.
They probably had a big sign though. One of those ones that says shh.
But across the hall and on a different floor, they're like, oh, there were parties going on. So yeah, I wish I had an exciting story. But my ego is invested this year in those beginning of the year big parties in the residences because I shadowed some cases last year and all the students lied. Like there were, 30 people in a room, two cases of beer, but nobody drank. I'm against
Tricksters.
drinking. I was raised not to drink.
It's just a decoration, right?
And so my ego is invested in like, I'm going to get them to tell the truth and to feel good about it. And so we're going to see. We'll see when you ask me about it later.
Accountability.
So for me, those might be cases for a lot of people. Those are boring, like, another alcohol case, but I never get tired of them.
Mine was not a specific case, but my first actual job as a conduct officer was at a party school. And my office was an old dorm room in the Commons. Like they used to have a couple of dorm rooms. I don't know why in the Commons. So a small-ish space, but enough for somebody to live in. And that Monday morning, the first Monday after the first weekend, I walked into my office and the RAs had confiscated alcohol over the weekend and put it in my office. I could open the door, that was it. The entire floor was
Wow.
covered in bottles. Like these were some ambitious and well-funded students, and
Oh.
all the different kinds from Kamchatka up to Goldschlager. Now, I don't remember what I did with it. In my head, I know what happened to it. We destroyed it in some capacity, but I'm trying to think, did I take every single one of those bottles and pour it down the bathroom sink that was attached to my office over the course of that week? Right away, I had to start meeting with students. I'm trying to think where, like, it's so long ago. This was, in the 1900s. So it's
Yeah.
been 30 years ago.
Well, there were days. There were days when it was just the practice to collect it for a big end of the year staff rager. I don't know if people would believe that now, but I bet some old RAs could tell some stories.
I did not have that experience.
No, I'm very thankful I did not. Kurt, I think we're just about at time.
We are. Well, it was wonderful to connect with you on this happy back to school episode.
Awesome to see you. I can't wait to see what fashion choices you make over the coming weeks.
I'm excited too. And you've set a high bar with Sarah Jessica Parker.
I may have said it too high. All
Before
right,
we
friend.
go, how
Yeah.
do people find us?
Oh,
We're so bad at
I
this.
know they're dying to like us and comment and subscribe. Uh, I now have a TikTok and Instagram, YouTube. Ms. Behavior is out there, baby.
Are we a Blue Sky organization yet?
We'll talk. I have to learn. I'll add it to the to-do list.
Tweet us on Friendster. Well, then,
Bye.
until next time.
I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.